Hey everybody, Gisele Grenier here. So in this video, I'm going to teach you, well, I'm going to teach myself and you can watch. I want to create a paint pour pot. And what I have is, you probably can't see over there. I have a whole bunch of little cactuses and succulents, and I just wanted something nicer than a just plain pot. And I didn't really find anything at the store. What I wanted a very customized, modern looking pot to hold just a plain greenery of the succulents. So I thought, well, let's try paint pouring. I've never done this before, so I have no idea. So we'll see what happens. I love experimenting, especially live on camera without editing. That way you can see if something doesn't work, how to get around it. So what I'm going to be doing with this is I've got a pot here that's been cleaned. It's just a regular pot. I also have the base to it. The base I'm just going to paint a straight black mixed with metallic paint. I'm going to do that off camera because it's not nothing to do with paint pouring. And what I'm going to be using is a Decor Media Fluid Acrylics. Now I'm going to be using carbon black. Yeah, I know, black. Primary magenta. And I've got some Decor Dazzling Metallics. Worn Penny as my metallic. Oh, and I didn't get the bottle, and I've got some white in here. So what it is, because I don't have any more of these, I put the black and the metallic in here. Now the black, I did add a little bit of water to it because it seemed to be a little bit thicker. And then I added the pouring medium. 2 parts paint to 1 part medium. Then the Dazzling Metallics though, I put the 1 part of the metallic paint and then about a half a part of water, and mix all up into that. I put about, I would say, 1 part medium. So we'll have to see how that works. I'm finding now, because of the weather that we have, the heat wave that we're in, is that my paints, even though they're fluid, is that they're evaporating very quickly. So knowing this, now all I'm doing is I'm trying to find the right ratio and the feel for the paint, because I can feel the paint and hear it and get that feel of it being thin enough. And then I've got a jar of decoupage medium underneath to hold that. So I was going to put a piece of tape here. I'm just going to leave it the way it is, and I'm going to wear gloves this time. So the idea about the custom pot was basically I wanted something that was dark, so black, but I wanted some metallics in there. I love rose gold, but I want to try the Worn Penny because I've had trouble with this metallic because of the thickness. And this paint pouring, I've only been doing it for a little while. I'm new to it, so the whole thing is about experimenting. All right, so I'm going to do a dirty pour with this. So the first color you put in is going to be the primary color. So I'm going to work with the metallic. And then I'm going to put a little bit of black. And then I'm going to put a little bit of the cells are already starting to develop. Here you can't see because it's so dark. Okay. A little bit of white. This white, what I find, is very overpowering. Yeah, you can look at that. Look at that. A little bit of black. A little bit more metallic. What I was finding before is I was using way too little paint, and that messed everything up. So I'm going to make more paint than I need. And I don't think I'm going to put one more little bit of black, but then that'll be it for the black. I'm going to put that over here. Oh, or the metallic. A little bit of the magenta. The fluid acrylics are perfect for paint pouring. I'm just alternating now between the magenta and the metallic, finishing off with the metallic. All right, now what I have been doing what I have been doing is with the paint pours, I'm going to get some palette paper, is putting whatever it is I'm going to do the pour on and then just flip it. I'm not going to do that with the pot, the planter pot. I'm just going to let that there. So I'm just going to put this here because I'm hoping that I can pull off a skin. And I like using this. I put the skins in a page protector. My mouth is rented. The page protector. And I've got the curls being on this side, so let's see if I can show you the curls so that it'll kind of contain the paint. All right, so I'm just going to pour. It's way too much black. Ooh, the metallic is gorgeous. I'm going to pour the... Oh, you know what? I want to make some more of the metallic. And the red. Oh, my God. Okay, hold on. Hold on. A lot more of the red. Ooh, will I be able to recover from this? I think so. I think so. And I add a little bit of water. And where's my brush? Mix it up. I didn't need to do that. I already added water in here. Okay, so let me just, darn. I bumbled that up. Let me think. Darn, I screwed that up. I forgot that I already added water to that. So I'm just going to oh, this is so neat. Okay. You know what? Let me get another one. Oh, just take rose gold. I'll just take rose gold. So I'm going to pour a little bit of rose gold in there. But then take this paint here that I added water to it and I shouldn't have. And we'll pour that in here. Okay, so this is how you're going to see. And I put it in the container with the black. It actually worked out just fine. And never leave a brush like this in your container because you'll end up flipping it over. Okay, let's see what happens. So I'm going to, oh my God. Okay, hang on. I gotta show you this. Look at that. Oh. Okay. Let's see what I can do over here. I don't know. I don't know. Love the red. I wish you could see this. Come on, go down there. I wish you could see this. The white is really cool. So as a dirty pour, it's much nicer. There we go. neat. The dirty port is much nicer. Okay, so my challenge here is I can't get the paint going with, oh, look at this. Ooh, nice. I love all that. I can't get the, I can't get the paint going all the way around the ridge. Okay, so I will do this. This and do this, and I'm going to scoop this up for something else. Okay, let's see if I can do this without making too much of a mess. Can I do this over a container? Come on. Okay, pots are a little hard. Pots are a little hard. They're not being cooperative. So when I get this down here, I'm going to flip it the other way around. Just put it on here for a minute. Oh. Now I'm just going to scoop all this stuff up somehow. Lift up the paper. Okay, I'm going to do this off camera because I know what's going to happen. I am going to make such a mess, so I will be right back. Okay, I didn't do it off camera because you need to see how I did this. So I got some of these painter's pyramids, and I'm going to, just so I can get this out of the way. Oh, hopefully the pot will sit on that. It's wobbly. It's really wobbly. Here we go. Okay. I emptied out one of the containers. Okay, note to self, I should have did this on my, oh, I didn't move it over far enough. I should have did this on my, in my painter's palette. So that's still not enough. So I'm going to put that over here. Okay. That would make a beautiful skin. Stuff. But I need the room. Let's chalk this one up to garbage. I'm going to pour everything in that little cup there. Come on. Can I do this? Shit. I was gonna swear. Look at that. Okay. I gotta figure out where to put this because I want to keep this. I want to keep that one. All right. All right, what do we got here? Look at that. All I'm going to say is that it's interesting. Okay, let's see what we can get on the side here. So I'm just taking what I have, what I just poured off. Really what I'm doing, I'm just getting it wet. I'm going to take this stuff here. I did more. Oh my god, oh god, oh god, that is gorgeous. Yeah, I can't show you this yet. I can't show you that yet. Oh my god, that is beautiful. No, I'm going to leave that. I am going to leave. I want to get some red in there though. Getting rid of a little bit more of the white. Now I can't see what's on the other side. Can you guys see? Probably not. I can't see. So getting it wet first made a difference. I'm going to get my fat head in the way. And what this should do, it should go right to the very edge, because the I'm going to finish this with the white necklace. I'm going to finish this with the Decor Duraclear polyurethane varnish. But what I'm going to be doing is oh, and there's some white. Oh, I shouldn't have done the white, but it really pulls off the marbling. Wow. I'm going to, I guess you guys can't see my face. I'm going to be using the Decor Duraclear varnish on this, but where the inside of the pot is, the dirt's only going to be about that much from the top, and then it's going to be filled with stone, so it's not going to be affected with the paint. Darn. Okay. The addition of the white, you can already see the cells are just exploding. They're absolutely beautiful, but I did prefer the metallic look. I did prefer the metallic look. So in saying that, whoops, that fell over. In saying that, let me just show you what it would have looked like. Nope, that's not the color. It's this one here. It was like that. That was the majority of the finish. So this one here, I was just going to paint it plain. I wasn't going to do any paint pouring on this because it's going to be covered. What do I have left? Nothing. I have nothing left. And I want to minimize waste, so I'm going to use as much of it as I can. Now the top pour medium, or the finish, you can't use that on potted plants because it's not made for that. It's made for canvases and stuff like that. So this will have to have a polyurethane varnish if you can, or even marine varnish. Indoor outdoor varnish. Know that. So that was the finish on this. Wow. Look at that. And now we'll see if we can do that and get some of the white to pull off. And then we'll see what happens. So wow, what a mess. Joe's gone out. I better clean this up before he gets back. Only because I am so messy in this studio. He's the one that's vacuuming because of my allergies. And he hates vacuuming this room because of he sees the mess that I've made. All right. I'm going to let this sit for, in this heat with the humidity, it's going to take a little bit longer to dry because of the humidity. So how about we just come back tomorrow and see what it looks like. Well, I waited a week to finish recording this, and it's just too hot, and so you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead with it and see what happens. The pot turned out really nice, beautiful colors, but I did lose the darks. Now normally I would say that's fine, but my intention for this pot was that it would be dark, so I'm gonna try something. So I've got some Decor Dazzling Metallics Metallic Glaze. This is Renaissance Brown. I'm gonna add a glaze to it and see what happens. So just taking a really soft brush. Now the glazes you're supposed to be able to see through. And it's not bad. I can see through. And it's a matter of just finding the right balance of the paint. So I'm just going to borrow from over here. And just get that applied. And then I'm going to rub some of it back. Then once that's dry, I'm going to show you how I'm going to varnish it. And then we'll get to planting the little succulents in there. Alright, so typically when I do a glaze, especially on a pot, I will wipe it back. Yeah, this really knocks down the white. Not using a lot of pressure. And I would actually prefer using a cloth for this, not a paper towel. See? Really knocks it back. And then I would do this as many times as necessary to get the finish that I want. It just adds a bit of a subtle glaze. You have to make sure you work fast. Make sure I don't have any paint streaks. This is just one way of doing it. The goal is basically the paint has to be transparent. There we go. How beautiful is that? Now, that I really like. And then if you let it dry and then you apply another layer, and then it just gets a little bit darker. And then you would repeat the step again just by gently wiping it back. Make sure it's dry though. Okay, so you can see it's a little bit darker. You see all the glitter there, the shine. Okay, so this is much better. I didn't quite like, the white was nice, but not the stark, like it was really, really stark. Okay, so there's the difference. So it's a little bit lighter. Here we are. All right, so I just finished recording the whole series, whole section of where I glazed the pot, and I forgot to turn my microphone on. It's too hot. All right, so a quick overview. So I'm using the Decor Dazzling Metallics Metallic Glaze Renaissance Brown, and then what I did is I applied a layer of metallic glaze to the entire pot, because the pot was white. And I'll show snippets of what it was. Then I wiped it back with a paper towel, let it dry for a few seconds, applied another layer, and then wiped it back. And now it's all nice and dry. So it's just because I didn't like the stark white of the paint. So I wanted it to have a nice finish to it. If you were using, what else was I saying? If you're using artificial plants, then just use the metallic lusters. Then you can apply a nice finish to it, because they're water soluble. So if you pour it and it gets wet, it doesn't really work. But, just to show you, rose gold, that, it does put a nice finish on that. It's more opaque than the actual glaze. This whole paint project has been about experimenting. So I've got the pour in there, and the parts that don't really have much of an effect, I wasn't intending on doing this. I'm going to put the Dazzling Metallic, and then I'm going to varnish it and see what happens. So I'm just putting little bits where I can afford to cover up some spots. The pot was damaged there. I'm just covering up a little bit of little imperfections. Now, if you don't like metallics, then of course don't use metallics. I wanted to create this as a modern thing. You can also use black metallic. Then when you're done, buff the crap out of it. This is what really increases the shine. Beautiful that is. That is gorgeous. Don't care about the bottom because I'm just going to glue that there. Holy bejeebers is hot. 43 degrees Celsius with the humidity. And what do? I roll over my microphone wire and I plunked it in half. Varnish. Okay, that was the other thing I was saying in the previous segment. So when varnishing this functional pot, because there's going to be plants in it, you need to use an outdoor varnish because the indoor stuff just isn't meant to get wet. So typically, if you're just working on a canvas, you would use the top pour varnish to cover your paint pour. But I'm gonna go to my go-to, the Decor DuraClear polyurethane varnish. And because there's so many different finishes on that, going from ultra matte right up to high gloss, all in between, which you can customize. If I'm looking at creating a modern pot, you know, something a little bit more shiny, that way the colors will be brought out. Plus we use metallic, so we don't want to dull them down with matte varnish. So anything from a satin to a high gloss. So I'm going to split the difference. I'm going to go to just a plain gloss varnish. You got to make sure that this is 100% dry though. So what will the experiment for this is basically, because I use the glaze on here, and then I use the metallic luster on here, because metallic luster is water soluble. It's going to be interesting to see how this is going to varnish. Now the other thing, coat paper towel into a little bit of water. If there's areas that I didn't like how they were covered up, I can just go with a damp paper towel and remove a little bit of that metallic, and it comes the wax finish, and it comes off. There we go. Where the dazzling metallic was though, the metallic glaze, that's not coming off. I did one coat of varnish on it, and just to let you know, I put it on top of a pot, and then just, you can see now on the table, and then I just kind of put one coat inside and outside, and same with the bottom tray, one coat. Now because it's so hot and it's talking about humid here, I'm going to give this a few hours to dry, then I'll put another coat. You basically put as many coats as you want. Always read the label on the product. I'm saying a lot right now. Soap and water cleanup, shake gently, apply with a flat brush. I like using that brush I was using was the Majestic oval brush, and I marked it with masking tape because it's my brush I use specifically for varnishing. Again, follow the directions, but just make sure that's a polyurethane indoor-outdoor use. The focus on the outdoor use, because you want to make sure if it gets wet that it's still protected. All right, so once this is done, when I come back, I'll have 2 coats of varnish on it, be completely dry, and I'll have it assembled with my little succulents. Finished. It looks absolutely beautiful. I sprayed the plant with a little bit of water just to clean up a little bit of the dirt particles in it. There's a nice top view, and can't get too much of a side view, so I'll get some other shots. So with this, I'm not a plant expert putting things together, but you know, I like what I've got. I did do some damage to the plant, so you know, next time I'll kind of change the way I organize things. What I'll likely do is go to where I bought these, get something that's already arranged, and just take it and put it in the pot. Now, the reason why I'm okay with putting all this stone stuff is because these are succulents. They need very little water, so all I do is mist it and probably add just a few drops right where the roots are. But if it was that plant that was going to be heavily watered, you can buy plastic inserts for inside if it was going to be like, if you had to give it a real good soak, just to protect the pot even more. But with the varnish, you should be okay. But if you have any questions about with the varnish that you're using, contact the manufacturer. They'll be able to give you the right answer. So I hope that you really enjoyed this. I would love to see your take on a paint pour plant pot. PPPP. And if you have any questions, let me know. So I'd love to see a picture of what you've done. Post it in the comments below. And if you have any questions, again, let me know. And I'm going to go and turn the AC on because it's really, really hot. So until I see you in the next lesson, stay inspired.